Hello and welcome. Today we are taking an in-depth look at this 2019 Ford Edge Titanium. This Ford Edge comes in stone gray metallic and it has a ceramic colored interior. It's got 19-inch silver aluminum wheels. This is a very handsome looking car in my opinion. It's got good body lines. It's not overly flashy. It's kind of a nice toned down family crossover. I like the way the rear end slopes down. It's really got a good look to it. A nice sunroof, panoramic sunroof, might I add. Your rear wiper does not stay up under its own weight. It doesn't have like a lock in place, which makes it a little more difficult to clean under it, but not the end of the world. You do have dual exhaust. As I mentioned, it's the titanium trim. You do have manual folding mirrors. You can just fold it in like that. You do have turn signals within your mirrors though. So let's go ahead and take a look at the key fob here. It's a pretty standard Ford key fob. It's your Ford logo on the back. It's your unlock, your lock, your remote start, trunk release, and your panic button. If I click the unlock button twice and hold on the second click, the front windows roll down. Which is a cool feature. However, if I want to roll the windows back up, I do have to put the car in accessory mode and do it like that. Just turn the car back off. Like I said, you got your lock button. But if I press the lock button once and then press this button twice, that will trigger the remote start. So that'll turn the AC on, get the car cooled down so that when you get in it, you don't bake yourself to death. Turn the car off, just click it again. I can open the trunk with the key fob by clicking this button twice. And I can shut it by clicking it twice again. The trunk also has a function where if you kick your foot under the tailgate like this, as long as you have your key in the pocket, the trunk should open. And to close it, you just do the same thing. Kind of hit or miss, you have to find the sensor, but you wave your foot under. If you get it far enough under, the trunk will close just like that. I have a physical key that will pull out of the bottom of the key if I have to unlock the car for whatever reason. But that key comes out of the bottom like this, and it slides back in like that. The manual keyhole is located under the handle right there. So now let's go ahead and hop inside. This car does have keyless entry, so if I can lock it by pressing this button here, as long as I have the key in my pocket, so the car is locked. But now, if I want to unlock it, I can put my fingers behind the handle, and it will unlock like so. I've also got this keypad on the door. If you know the code to your car, you can open the door using that. So now stepping into this ceramic colored interior. You see a common theme with this car is very mundane. It's not overly flashy, but it still looks good. So this is a keyless start car, so I'm just going to put the key down in this little cubby tray here. Start it up like so. So let's go ahead, roll down the driver's window and take a look at the back seat. Hopping in here, got a very good sized back seat. I have the seat adjusted to where I would have it to sit in it. Granted, I'm not very tall. I'm roughly 5'11", so not 5'11". I'm 5'9", so I have plenty of knee room. My headroom is a little short because of this panoramic sunroof, but I still fit in here just fine. I can stretch my legs out under the seat if need be. So yeah, it's a very good car. Got my window control here on the door. However, I do have piano black trim in this car. Now, the one problem I have with it is it collects fingerprints like crazy. So, especially on this part where you grab it to pull the door closed, there's so many fingerprints along that part. I do have a little door bin here with a cup holder in it, and one of the speakers that is part of my Bowers & Wilkins Bang & Olufsen sound system. I have a leather insert here. I've got 2 air vents here in the center and a little storage tray in here, and this part's removable so you can clean it relatively easily, but it doesn't stay in here very well. I do have a 12-volt outlet here and a household style outlet here, if I can get it open. There we go. So I can fold this down to reveal 2 cup holders and a little armrest. I do have my middle seat belt here. Looking up above me, I've got a little grab handle and a light right there. I also have a little coat hanger located there. So stepping out of the back seat here, see my child lock. If I use that manual key I mentioned earlier, I can turn the child lock on and off. Here's my gas cap, so let's go ahead and talk about gas mileage for a minute. This car takes regular gasoline, and it has an MPG rating of 22 city and 29 highway. Now, you see, it's one of those easy fill apps, which is nice, quick, easy if you're at the gas station, just filling it up with the regular hose nozzle. However, if you have a gas can, it's a little more difficult. So what you do is you go into the trunk here, which is opened using this handle right there. It is an automatic lifting trunk. You go up under the floor here, and you got a little handle here. Pull that up, and you see a little funnel here. This funnel is long enough and shaped correctly so that it will go all the way down into the gas cap. You also see your spare tire down here. You got your big subwoofer here. Got 2 little grocery bag holders on either side. They say Ford in them, which is kind of cool. Once you push those in, you'll hold your groceries in place. So if you need to fold the second row flat for whatever reason, you can use this button here. I hold it down, and it'll fold the seats flat like so. So that's a cool feature. You don't have to go all the way around to fold down the second row seats. I do have a 12-volt outlet here, and a little storage cubby in here. You also have a storage net that you can stretch across the vehicle. And as you just saw, if you don't want to use the storage net, it fits perfectly in this little cubby on the side. You've got another little cubby located here. So that's the cargo area. You can shut the trunk by pressing this button here. You can adjust the height of the trunk by opening the trunk and then pressing that button to stop it, and then holding the button down for a few seconds until it chimes, letting you know that the trunk will open to that setting every time. You do have keyless entry function on these back doors as well, which is nice to see. It's not just on the driver's door, so that's cool. Fold these seats back up. You can fold them down from up here. As I showed you, there's the way to do it from back there, but if you want to do it from up here, you pull this tab and it folds down like so. So we're gonna pull that back up. Just like so. You got two storage pockets in the back of the seats. Hopping around to the passenger seat here. You got one touch windows. You got your speaker, one of your speakers here, like I said, your Bang & Olufsen sound system. Got your lock and unlock. A little door pocket here. And your grab handle here, and like I said, it collects fingerprints like crazy. You have a cool little trim piece here. You can push that button to open the glove box. You got a fun little pass-through here that's perfect for fitting an umbrella. And you got another 12-volt outlet there. Got a nice sun visor here. That can unclip and swing around to the side and also extend. You got a little grab handle here. And down next to the seat, you have a little storage tray as well as your seat controls, which are power. So you can move the seat forward, backward, up, down. You can tilt it and adjust the seat back like so. You also have lumbar support there. It's only forward and backward though. It doesn't go up and down. Like I said, you got your little storage tray and it says Edge on the door sill. Also says Edge in the floor mats, which is nice. So let's go ahead and go around to the driver's side and talk about some of the features that the driver gets to use. So coming around here, the door card looks mostly the same as the others. You got a few extra features. You got all your window controls here. You got your window lock right there and all your mirror controls located here. You can select this mirror or this mirror and adjust with this left, right, up and down. Like I said, you got one touch windows for the front, but not one touch for the back. The windows for the front are also one touch up. Got a little bit of storage down here and a little cup holder, another one of your speakers. You got the same seat controls as did the passenger and another little storage cubby right there. So, hopping in here, I've got a nice looking steering wheel, a very good driving position in my opinion. I can see the hood perfectly, and I can see all around me just fine. Visibility out the rear, you do have two relatively large blind spots, but other than that, it's not the end of the world. I can see out the back fine, and yeah, it's not bad. So, moving over to the left of the driver, or the steering wheel here, I've got all my light controls. So I've got my fog light control here. However, it only allows you to turn the fog lights on when your headlights are on. And you can see that light up in there. I've got my parking lights and then an off setting. So I'll go ahead and show you what all the light fixtures look like now. So moving over to the right of the headlight controls, you have your gauge cluster brightness. So I can turn it down or turn it up. Here I have my traction control on off switch and my trunk release. Moving over to the gauge cluster over here, I have a screen I can adjust. I've got my fuel gauge right there. I've got an RPM gauge right here, a tachometer. If I scroll down, I can see my temperature, my engine temperature, and the fuel gauge. I can see my tire pressure, my speed, my range. I can see my tripometers, my fuel economy, my average speed, and if with the auto start stop, I can see if the engine's on or off. I can see all my driver assist systems. I can adjust certain modes. I can have it aid me, alert me, do both. Got my pre-collision system, and then everything else I can just turn on or off. I've got my main settings, my main vehicle settings, so I can scroll through these and adjust certain things. I've got my key settings and my display setup settings. If you want a more in-depth look at what all these things do, I have a video on the gauge cluster functions of the Ford Edge. So go ahead and check out that video if you'd like more info on that. Beneath the screen, I have my odometer and my auto start stop disable button or display. Looking in the center, I have a speedometer with kilometers read out in the center. And I have a gauge showing what gear I'm in. So if I'm in reverse, the R will light up, neutral, drive, and sport, just like so. And then I have another screen off to the right that I can see my entertainment, what's playing at the moment. I can see my AM, FM, and Sirius XM. I can scroll through my different presets, and I can see my phone if it's connected. At the top of that screen, I can see what is playing at the moment. I can see FM1 preset 6. And at the bottom, I can see the outdoor temperature, the direction I'm facing, and what time it is. So, looking at the steering wheel itself, it is a very nice steering wheel in my opinion. It's got a good look to it, good feel. I like the shape. It's kind of cool looking. On the back of the steering wheel, I do have my turn signal stalk. I can flash my high beams by pushing it out like that, or pulling it in like this. To turn my high beams on when the headlights are on, I push it away. If I want to change lanes on the interstate, I can tap it up and it'll blink 3 times. And then to adjust my lane keep assist, to turn that on and off, I don't know if that's lane keep assist or lane centering, but I can turn it on and off by using the switch on the end of the stalk. On the other side, I got my wiper controls, and one funny thing about Ford, some Ford models, the wipers go in a very interesting direction. They go out instead of in. Anyway, to do it one time, I tap it down like that, and then through my different intermittent settings there, I've got my rear wiper control there on the back, or on the side, I mean. Then I can adjust my intermittent there, pull towards me for the front wiper fluid, and push away for the rear wiper fluid. I can adjust my steering wheel height with the dial on the back of the steering wheel, so I can go down, up, in, and out. Okay, so now looking at the steering wheel itself, it's got an array of buttons on it, although most of them are relatively simple and they all make sense. So these buttons on the left control that screen on the left, and these buttons on the right control that screen on the right. Scroll up, go up, down, left, right, and an OK button or select button, and up, down, left, right, and OK is select. Pretty simple. I've got my horn button in the middle. It's kind of an interesting sounding horn, different from pretty much everything else I've heard. I've got my volume and skip track buttons on the steering wheel. I can mute the sound system, and I have my voice command button right there. And then here I have all my cruise control settings: on, off, reset, cancel, increase and decrease speed. So looking up here, I have a little microphone right there and my sun visor with a mirror in it. I've got a little card holder, and I can slide this around to the side and extend it like so. Now on the side here, I have a garage door opener, which is cool. Here I've got my sunglasses holder and like 45 different buttons for the lights. So this button controls the left light, this button controls the right light, and this button controls both lights. Now this button will disable the lights when I open the door. Now if I click it again, the lights will be on when I open the door, and they'll turn off when the door closes. Over here I've got my sunshade control, so if I press this one, the sunshade will open from my panoramic sunroof. And if I click this, the sunroof will tilt. Click this one to close it, and this one to open it completely. However, they're not one touch. I have to hold them the whole time. I got my little wind shade right there. And to shut the sunshade, I press this, but that is one touch. So I've got a little, well, not a little, I've got a relatively large rear view mirror here, which is manually adjustable. And I've got a little storage compartment up on top of the dashboard. Look in here, I've got two air vents on either side of the screen, and then we got the screen itself. So on this screen, I can go to my radio, I can go to my, I can see a compass right here, and I can go to my phone if it's connected there. I've got a shortcut to my audio. This is what that looks like. I've got direct tune. I can go through my sources. I've got my 3 pages of presets. I made a video on the sound system, the audio system, and how it's controlled. So if you'd like more details on that, go ahead and check out that video. Here I've got all my climate controls on the screen. Again, I made another video on how all the different climate controls work, so if you want a more in-depth look at them, go ahead and check that video out. But a simple overview: I got my temperature, where I can send the air, the fan speed, and the passenger temperature. And here I've got a couple different settings on other things I can adjust. Here I've got my phone settings. I can add a phone, I can connect to these 2 phones. I've got all my apps, I can connect a device, find mobile apps here. And then I've got my vehicle settings. Once again, I made a separate video covering in depth all the vehicle settings that you can go through. If you'd like to see that and see an in-depth look, go ahead and check out that video. But a quick overview: I've got ambient lighting, all my different colors here. I've got vehicle settings in here, I can scroll through. I've got my valet mode, automatic updates, my display settings. I can change the background to some different colors. I've got 911 assist. I got my sound settings, that's where I can adjust my bass and treble. I've got a clock, I can adjust the settings for that. So things like that. I've got, moving further down, I've got probably the world's smallest hazard switch, which is kind of cute to look at, but still does its job. I've got my passenger airbag display, and I've got my other physical controls, which are also covered in my climate control video. This is also a shortcut to get to the bass treble sound adjustment. But I got my auto, my max defroster, my front defroster, rear defroster, and then AC, max AC, recirculating air, all that stuff. I've got my heated 3-stage heated seats, some other radio controls here. Here's a listen to the Bang & Olufsen sound system. So not a bad sound system at all. And then I have my seek and tune right there. So below that I've got my temperature control, fan speed, and passenger temperature. Got a little storage cubby right here, which will fold up. I've got 2 good-sized cup holders, a little storage tray right in front there, which I could use to put the key, but there's a lot of keychains on this one, so I put it in this little cubby back here. I've got my automatic start-stop button right there, so if I do not want the car to turn on or off in traffic, I can click it to that and it will prevent that function from happening. I've got my electronic parking brake, pull it up to engage, you can see the brake right there, but push it down to turn it off. I've got my gear shift right here, so if I shift into reverse, I do get a backup camera with trajectory lines, so that is good to see. I do have parking sensors here, so it'll light up. If I get real close to something, it'll let me know. Shift into neutral, drive, and if I want to go into sport mode, I push this S in the middle. This doesn't have any paddle shifters, unfortunately, but that's that. You don't have to press S again. If you just want to go back into drive, you can press S again, but if you just want to go into park, you can just slide it right over. No need to press S and then slide it over. We got a nice sized glove box with 2 opening. I can open just the top and reveal this tray, or I can push the one on the left to open the whole thing. So now that we've covered all the features of the Ford Edge, let's go ahead and talk about the engine. So, in order to open the engine bay, you're going to want to grab this handle right down here and pull it towards you. We're going to make our way around to the front of the vehicle here. It doesn't look like the engine is the hood is popped at all. I don't know if that's just an issue with this particular Ford Edge or if all Ford Edges do this, but you just lift it up a little bit and it'll stay pretty much up. So you want to reach in slightly off center from the Ford badge, and if you can't find it, it is yellow. So you'll see a yellow tab right in there, and you'll want to reach in and pull it to the left. So once you've got the hood open, you're greeted by a 2-liter turbo inline 4. It puts out 250 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. This engine will carry the Ford Edge from 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And let's go ahead and give it a listen, shall we? Well, thank you all for watching this video on the 2019 Ford Edge Titanium. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment, let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. You all have a good one. Bye-bye.